Today I wanted to talk about the Auto H button. My demo vehicle is a 2017 BMW X5, but the Auto H, which stands for Auto Hold, you'll notice that in a variety of our vehicles. If you have like a 5 Series or up in the lineup, then you'll notice that Auto H is going to be a button present in your vehicle. So this would be applicable to you as well, regardless on if you're driving the X5 or not. But Auto Hold, what that feature does is it applies the parking brake once you remove your foot off the brake, so it holds your car at a standstill. This is nice in a couple of different scenarios that I've heard are pretty popular. One being if you're climbing a very steep incline and maybe there's a traffic light or a stop sign or something on that hill and you come to a complete stop, and then when you remove your foot from the brake and you're going to the accelerator, there's that little bit of time where it's a possibility where your car can start to roll back slightly. This would prevent that from happening. It would actually hold your car in place indefinitely. Also, something to note is the cars in our lineup, all the new cars, they actually come with a feature called Start Off Assistant, which is a braking feature that holds your car in place for about a couple of seconds. I don't want you guys to go out and test it too much and potentially get in an accident, but it can hold your car in place for about a couple of seconds to prevent you from rolling back on a hill. But if you were to turn on Auto H, this would apply the brake and your car would be held in place indefinitely. So if you need an extended amount of time, longer than a couple seconds, then this would be your solution for that. Another scenario that I've heard people use it in is stop and go traffic, where you can actually turn on the feature, and what it does is it eliminates creep. So when you come off of the brake pedal, you'll notice that your car is held in place and it doesn't creep forward. This would allow you to, sit in traffic and give your legs or your feet a rest until the traffic started moving again. So that might be a scenario that is beneficial for you to use the feature in. But to use the feature, what you'd have to do, make sure your doors are closed and your seatbelt's on. The car would actually give you a reminder if your seatbelt's not on to make sure that it is on. But once everything's in place, you can give this button a press. You see it lights up green on the LED there. As well as up in the instrument cluster, you get the Auto H. Now, once I apply my foot to the brake, you see the parking brake comes on and it's lit up green. Again, that's another indicator that I'm using the Auto Hold feature as opposed to just the parking brake on, which would light up red if the parking brake was just on and Auto H was not. But now the parking brake is on. I can remove my foot from the brake. Let me kind of give you a peek here. Removing my foot from the brake. But you see the parking brake is still on and applied. But now I'm going to put the car into drive and remove my foot from the brake. And you can see that no feet on the pedals and we're just sitting there with the parking brake on. I can step on the accelerator and start to move forward and it'll remove the parking brake. And I'm creeping forward here, and then I'll step on the brake, come to a complete stop, it'll apply the parking brake again, and I can remove my foot from the brake and the car will be held in place. So if you can think of a different scenario where this might be beneficial for you, by all means, but that's the overall feature of the Auto Hold that you have in the vehicle. And if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I'd be happy to help you out.